Okay. Golf ball is selected at random if the bag contains 9 type A, 8 type B, 3 type C. Find the probability that the ball is not type A. So how will we start?
Wouldn't we add them all up to get the grand total of how many there are?
Right.
And it looks like there's 20 altogether.
Okay, and then
So there would be 9 out of 20.
9 out of 20 are type A. What are they asking?
Is not a type A.
Not type A.
So you would add the other two up and get 11. So it'd be 11 out of 20.
Right.
And would you just divide it to get a decimal?
Right. Because since it's not an integer, so we have to get a decimal, as they say.
See, it would be 0.55.
Okay. How many different 10-letter words can be formed from the following? Okay, so do you remember the procedure?
I remember this problem for sure.
Did it give you problems?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Okay, so if these 10 letters were all different, then the answer will be 10 factorial. However, these are not all different, right?
Right.
So what repetitions do we see? So normally the answer would be 10 factorial, which of course you already can figure out is not the answer here. But okay, let me write it still. So what repetitions do we see?
It looks like M and N.
And also you have to count how many times something is repeated.
And both are twice.
Okay, so M is repeated 2 times, so you would divide. Oh, come on, will it let me enter a fraction? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me enter a fraction. All right, so I want to write 10 factorial in the numerator. And then in the denominator, since M is repeated 2 times, so I will write a 2 factorial for that. So 2 factorial for the M being repeated twice. and then another 2 factorial for the n being repeated twice. So if something was occurring 3 times, then you would write 3 factorial for that. And 4 times you will write 4 factorial. And basically you look at each repetition and write the corresponding factorial for that in the denominator.
I was trying to remember how to pull it up on the calculator.
The factorial?
Yes.
Okay, you hit, so for example, for the 10 factorial, you hit the 10, right? First hit the 10, then hit the PRB button. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the factorial. In fact, let's pull up the calculator as well, just in case. Smart. My tools. Dear smart view. Oh, I have only 16 days left with this calculator. And I don't know how much it will cost afterwards. Okay, so continue the trial version. They never told me what the price will be eventually. Okay, so yeah, you found it? How to do it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is the PRB button. And I think it's at the same spot even in your calculator.
Yeah, I did.
Here. Okay. So what was the answer for that?
Okay, once we select,
Okay, do you want me to do it?
yes, I want to see how it's done.
Okay, so let's see. So let's clear everything. So you would do, for the 10 factorial, you would do 10 and PRB. Then you will scroll down to the factorial. And then you want to divide it by, so there are, in the bottom you have 2 factorial times 2 factorial, right?
Yes.
So I will put a parenthesis. So now you can type 2 factorial, or if you know that 2 factorial is 2, then you can just type 2. But okay, just for the sake of public, I will write 2 factorial, although I know it that it's 2. 2 PRB, enter, times 2 PRB, enter. And okay, that's how you will put it in calculator. So 907200.
Yes. That's what I got. Okay.
35 math majors, 38 music, 66 history, are randomly selected from 463 math majors, 380 music majors, 324 history majors at a state university. So which sampling technique is used?
This is the one where it's the definition says something like it's a little and then all.
Right. So it's either there are two levels going on, and so it's either stratified or clustered. So what you have to look for is, so how do we recognize whether something is stratified or clustered? What's the difference?
I can't remember.
So in stratified, you pick everything at the first level. So basically, you divide the whole population into certain classes and you pick everything from that class. And then at the second level, you choose a few members from each class.
And cluster would
Cluster
be
is opposite. You pick a few classes to begin with, and then you pick each member from those classes.
so this one would be cluster.
Why?
Because at first it's only a few from each major, and then it tells you what they're selected from.
No. It's okay. It's not the way things are written. You read the thing and then you picture to yourself that what's going on. So yes, the way
Okay,
it's written is.
from whole.
Say again.
So where it says selected from, so we would choose the answer by saying they were taken from this whole group of majors. So it was everybody and then it was a few.
Yeah, right. So at the first level, what they did was they divided the whole university students into these 463 math majors, 380 music majors, and 324 history majors. So there's an assumption here, and the assumption is that these are the only three majors at that university. So the whole university is being divided into these three majors.
Right.
And then from each of these majors, you are picking a few at the second level.
Okay.
So stratified. So the way this could be a cluster problem is like this, for example. So okay, let's give you the chance to tell how this could be modified into a cluster problem instead of stratified.
It would start off by saying, talking about the whole groups.
Okay.
And then it could go into let's see. I'm not sure because if it was talking about the whole groups, it could say something like, out of those, we only tested however many. But I don't know if that would work.
Well, okay. So in cluster at the first level, you would pick not every class but a few classes. So let's say they would say that at a university, um, all the math majors and all the music majors are selected. So now the university may have lots of other majors also, right? But they just selected the math majors and the music majors, but then from them they select everybody. They select everybody who's a math major and they select everybody who's a music major.
Okay.
So here all the majors were selected, but not all the students of those majors were selected, right?
Right.
But in cluster, you would select a couple of majors or maybe how many, but not all the majors. But then from those majors, you would select every student.
Okay.
All right. So the mean can be either done by hand or by StatCrunch.
Okay. I think I usually put this into 2 columns when we.
Okay. So if you want to do it by hand, you would just you multiply these entries, the 2 times 0.3 and the 5 times 0.18 and all the rest of them, and then you would add the results. But sometimes in these problems, they also ask the standard deviation. So then you should also know how to put it in StatCrunch. And when you put it in StatCrunch, it calculates both the mean and standard deviation. Okay, so we will put it in StatCrunch, which is not available. Let's see. StatCrunch. All right, so we will first you put it in the columns. So what are they? Two, 5, 9, 12 is the first column. 2, 5, 9, 12. And then the second column will be 0.3, 0.18, 0.23, 0.29. And then what do we do?
Summary stats, columns.
Remember, this is group data. So stat, summary stat, columns works only when there is only one column and one set of entries. So when it's a group data and it's decimals, then there's another way. Now, if this second column, which is the weight or frequency or probability column, if this column was not decimals, then you could also do stats, summary stats, and grouped data. But group data will not work if these are decimals. I think it will give you an error. Let's try doing it. Let's hope they've corrected it. But the last time I saw, it wanted, okay, variable 1, count in variable 2. And the last time I did was it gave an error. So it's not that you would get a wrong answer. You will just know that, okay, you have to find another way to do it, right?
Right.
Okay. So now one way to fix it is that you multiply all these entries by a common number so that the decimals go away in all of them. But if you don't want to do that, and you just want to leave it like that. And I mean, you're terrified of changing the numbers by multiplying them by 100. So then you can also leave it like this, but then you have to do it in another way. And that is stats calculator. And now do you remember? What's the last thing there? This annoying message is getting in my way. What's the last thing which we see here? Are you seeing the last thing after the Weeble?
Custom.
Custom. Somehow I'm not seeing it. My Zoom screen is covering that. So you do stat calculator custom.
Okay.
And that takes care of the decimals also. So you do variable 1 in the first column and the probability in the second column. And so now you see it gives you both the mean and the standard deviation. So they were asking for the expected value. Which one is the expected value?
I would just think it would be the mean, but since you said expected value, I don't know.
Yeah. Mean is the expected value. 7.05. Okay, use average of 2 calls per hour. Use Poisson to determine the probability that in a randomly selected hour, the number of calls is 6. So what do we do?
Will we use the Poisson calculator?
Stats, calculator, Poisson. And
Let's see.
so what are the empty windows over there in the Poisson calculator that we are looking at?
Well, we have the mean.
Okay, are we given the mean?
I don't think so. I
Don't think so? You don't believe that average is the mean?
average is the mean.
You don't believe that?
I do.
You always did, or have you started believing it just now?
I only knew that because in StatCrunch, I think when we first started using it, no, not in StatCrunch, in Excel, it says average instead of mean.
So you're telling me that 5 months ago you didn't know that average and mean are the same thing?
I just didn't connect the dots, I guess.
Like, okay, if I ask you that, okay, there are 3 people whose ages are 18, 19, and 20, how will you find the average age?
I probably wouldn't have known since you said average, but
Yeah, how do we calculate average of 3 numbers?
multiply
Multiply them.
and then divide them. I don't know.
Don't you add the things and then divide by how many they are?
Yes.
Hmm.
I get mean, and median confused.
Yeah, okay. So mean, median, and mode are three kinds of averages. But
Right.
if we don't specify which one are we talking about, then by default, which one do you assume?
Mean.
Right, because that's how we, in normal day life, if someone tells you to get the mean of three numbers, you will just add them and divide by three. So if average is not really specified, then we generally assume that it's mean.
Right.
Okay, so then do we finally agree that average is given here? Or the mean
Yeah.
is given? Yeah,
So,
the average was given, but the mean is also given. So what's the mean?
so would it be 2?
Two, yeah, 2 calls per hour. Now, the only thing you have to watch out for is that it's given 2 calls per hour. And you look at the question says that in a randomly selected hour. So this time frame should match with this time frame.
Okay.
Then that just is the mean. But let's say they had said 2 calls per hour, but then they say in a randomly selected 6-hour period. So then you would change this 1 hourly average into a 6 hourly average. How?
Um,
If it's 2 calls per hour, how many will it be in 6 hours?
3.
3? Really?
Oh, I was doing it like as 2 hours, not 2 calls per hour.
Ah,
Um,
okay, okay, okay.
yeah.
So 2 calls every hour. So how many in 6 hours?
Um, 12, yeah.
12, right? So then you would use 12 as the mean if that was the case.
Okay.
In this case, we just use this 2. And then what do we want?
The number of calls in 6.
Is 6. So where will the 6 go? So the 2 will go for the mean. And where will the 6 go?
Um, would it go where the 10 is?
And which sign will we have? Lots of options, see?
Let's see.
I think we had a very interesting discussion on this kind of thing some time ago as well, didn't we?
Probably.
I think it was in one of the review sessions.
I don't know.
And now it's time to pick. If I say that the number of students in this class is 6, so which sign will indicate that the number of students is 6?
Would it just be the equals?
Yeah. Right. So 0.012. They're all multiple choice here. 0.012. Okay. So what do we do here?
Okay. Start by opening the data in StatCrunch.
So open in StatCrunch. Okay.
Let's see. Now will we do the column?
Okay. Usually that's what we do in most cases. So what was it? Stats.
Summary stats, columns.
Select it and enter. So what's the range? 250. So what's the S square?
Isn't it the variance?
11, 9, 13. And S.
Standard deviation.
So are we sure that this variance and this standard deviation are the sample variance and sample standard deviation? Which is what they want here. They say sample, sample, sample.
When you select them, the sample is just variance and standard deviation.
Okay, so which one is the population if we need that?
Let me go look so I can. It would be unadjusted.
Right.
Yeah.
So standard deviation is 109.15. Okay.
Okay.
How do you do the GPA?
I remember these two. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we multiplied the hours by the points.
Okay. And then?
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like there was another step, but.
Right. I mean, if you multiply the hours by the point, okay, let's do that. So,
Right. did it.
So tell me, what do I do here then?
So let's see. Wouldn't we? Okay, so we would write down the hours.
Okay.
With the grade she made, and whatever
Okay.
the grade was, we would multiply that point that goes with that grade.
All right. So
let's see. So a B in a 1 hour class, a D in a 1 hour class. So would we? Okay, so say this first one is a B. So we would do 1 times 3.
Right, 1 hour for the B and the 3 points for the B, right? So
Right.
1
That's
times
how we.
3. Okay, and then?
Okay, now a D, so 1 times 1.
What sign do I write?
Is it a plus?
Yeah. So 1 hour for the D, so 1 times?
1 times 1.
Yeah, and the D counts for 1. Okay, and then?
Okay, now the A, so 2
Plus?
times 4.
2 hours A, and A counts for 4. Okay, and then?
3 hours, so 3 times, and it was a C, so 2.
Okay. And obviously, you know that this is not the GPA because GPA cannot be more than 4, right? And then what else do we do after this? So let's see. If I put all this in a bracket, then does that remind you of what do we need to do next? Because you know I'm one of those people who doesn't do unnecessary things, including putting unnecessary brackets, right? So if I'm putting
Right.
these brackets, there has to be a deep philosophy behind that. What is it?
I don't remember.
Don't you divide it by something?
Okay.
So
Do
you
we divide
divide by
2?
why? Why do we
I feel
divide by 2? Does your
being 2.
conscience agree? Well, what is this top number? So calculate what this top number is.
Okay. $18.
18. And you're telling me that divided by 2 to get the GPA of 9.
So it is definitely not 2.
You divide it by the total number of hours. So,
Okay.
and it's good that the way we wrote it is, weren't we always, no. So which one were the hours? Okay, it was the numbers outside the parentheses,
The
right?
first. Yeah.
Okay, so 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 3.
Okay.
So 18 divided by 7. 2.57.
Okay, so on one of mine, she had an F, and an F is worth no points. So
Right.
just not multiply that hour by anything.
You multiply by 0, no point
Okay.
0, right? But you will still count the F hours in the denominator, right?
Okay, yeah.
What would have you done if I hadn't told you that you multiply by 0?
Well, I wrote it down being multiplied by 0, and then I was like, well, I better ask just to double check.
No, you said you recognize that you don't multiply it by anything. So obviously that anything has to
Right.
translate into a number, right?
Right.
Yeah, don't omit the F part in the numerator, although it's not going to contribute anything in the numerator because it's going to multiply by 0. But
Right.
if you don't write it in the numerator, then you may forget to count its hours in the denominator.
And for the bottom part, do we multiply all the hours
No,
together or just
add them, add them.
So let me make sure I got all the numbers right. 4.
You didn't get it right?
Let me make sure I put it in right. I see what I did wrong.
What?
I accidentally put the points instead of the hours.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, one way to remember is this, that if you put the points, then you will always be putting the A, B, C, D, which is always 4, 3, 2, and 1, right?
Right.
And so remember that the denominator is not always the same. It will change, and it can change only if you put the hours there.
Okay. Yep. That's what it was.
10 shared and 8 ties. How many shared tie combinations?
Wouldn't you just multiply them together?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So that'd be 80. Let's see. That was the easiest one. Okay. Find the class width. Wouldn't it be like, I can't remember if it's diagonal or just like 5 minus 6, so it'd be
It's neither diagonal nor horizontal. What is
of
it?
course not.
There's only one more possibility. Maybe you meant vertical, but you called it diagonal.
No, I definitely meant diagonal, but yeah.
Okay.
So it would be 1.1.
Right. So you don't do it this. I mean, the natural way to think is, oh yeah, width means I just do this minus this. But no, actually, since
Okay.
there are gaps here, so you do vertical to get it exact. So 6.1 minus 5 is 1.1, and they do have the 1 also as the answer. So, but it's 1.1.
Okay.
So you look at the difference of consecutive vertical entries. Okay. Mean, median, mode.
Okay, so we can open up in StatCrunch. And we would do summary stats columns. Mean, median, mode.
3640. Median is 3820. Oh, I don't see the mode. 3640, 3820.
Mean.
What do I do about the mode?
What do you mean?
Mod is equal to the mean?
No, sir, no, sir. I was asking, I guess, why were you asking that question? Did you not have a mode?
Yeah, the mode was not there on the StatCrunch screen.
Oh, okay. Well, there should be an option that the mode doesn't exist, so I guess.
So just because StatCrunch is not showing it, you assume that it doesn't exist. Wow. You
Um,
think StatCrunch is the whole world?
yeah. Pretty
Well,
much.
first of all, you knew how to get the mode even before you came to this class. So look at this.
Uh,
Imagine that you are 3 years back in your life and you have this data. What is the mode of this data?
isn't it the number that occurs the most? Is that one the mode?
Yeah.
Let's see. 4100 is looking like the only one that repeats.
Yeah. So, so
Mine had,
sad.
I was thinking yours just didn't have one.
The next thing you're going to tell me is that since StatCrunch is not displaying your name, so you have no name. Your name doesn't exist, even you don't exist, right? Okay. And then let's say you are too lazy to see that the mode is 4100, or you just like have one of those moments where you forget everything that you ever knew.
Yeah.
So, but you still know that there is a thing called StatCrunch. So then what you would do is you would go back to this window, options, edit. Okay, so, and then you know that there are lots of other options here also, and mode is one of them.
Yeah, it's at the very bottom.
Is it? Yeah. it'd be a very sad thing if you have to do this in order to get the mode, but you can't. And then it gives you the same thing, 4100. And
Right.
if the mode doesn't exist, then it will tell you that it doesn't exist when you try to get the mode.
Okay. I didn't know that.
All right. So, okay, your favorite thing, empirical rule.
Ooh. Oops. Um, I know we'll use stat crunch.
Stat crunch for empirical rule?
Okay, maybe not.
That's one of the rare things for which you don't use stat crunch.
Oh, I couldn't remember. I
Because
remember. Oh, there's a formula, right?
formula, but yeah,
I feel
but
like
okay, but there's always a first step in these empirical rule problems. What is that first step?
mm, um, I don't remember.
So the first step is you draw the picture.
Is that one of the ones where it's like, okay, yeah, it says bell shaped, and
Right.
it's each section has a percent. It's like 3 different ones.
Ah, so you are also one of those who has learned it that hard way where you write down all those percentages, right?
Yeah.
So the three numbers which you really have to remember are, what are the three main numbers that you have to remember for the one standard deviation, two standard deviation, and three standard deviations?
Hmm. The first one is like 60 something, I think.
68, you better remember them.
It's been a minute. I'm just trying to find it.
Uh, no, this is now the time that you need to find it in your brain, not on pieces of paper.
68%, 95, and 99.7.
Right. 68. Hmm. Oh. And that's the area in between. And then three standard deviations. Okay. And then in every empirical rule problem, you first draw the picture. And what do I write in the middle?
Mm, the mean.
Yeah.
And the standard deviation is what you go by to get like the next number. You add it to go to the right and subtract it to go to the left.
Okay. I mean, you said it in such a confident way that I don't want to interfere and show you
If,
another way
if I
because,
remember correctly.
yeah, yeah. So generally, I don't like to disturb people's thoughts as long as they're correct.
Okay.
Hmm.
it wants to have a score greater than.
The mean is 100 here and standard deviation is 13. Okay. So mean is 100 that I write in the middle. And the standard deviation there was 13. So do I write all the 3 standard deviations? Okay, so in my problem, the mean was 100 and standard deviation is 13. So this is the problem.
Okay.
So tell me, what do I do after I write the 100 in the middle?
You would add 13 to the 100.
Okay. And then,
Write it to the right.
okay. So 113.
Correct.
And
then 129.
Well, how do you get 129?
Add 13 again.
So 129 or 126?
Pretty sure 129. Let's see.
You think 13 plus 13 is 29?
126. I don't know what I did.
Okay. And then?
And then just add 13 to 126 and it should be 139.
All right. And then?
For your problem, I think it was asking greater than 139. And now that you have your number, you should be able to answer it.
Now how? I have a very pretty figure. This is what I want, greater than 139. So yeah. You very calmly said that now you should be able to answer. So, so tell me how.
Well, if I could find my picture, I had the percents written down.
Who taught you that way, the way you are telling me?
I guess I taught myself that way.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then I would really not want to interfere and just keep it.
I feel like you taught me an easier way, but I didn't remember that way.
So, were you the one who had written down a bunch of numbers and?
Yes, that was me.
So, did I have a laugh at that before? That are you going to
Yeah.
remember that many numbers?
I don't know how I did, but now I don't remember them.
Yeah. But even if you can find that piece of paper, the downside of that method is that you have to remember a lot of numbers.
Exactly.
So in this, the way I taught you, you just have to remember these 3 numbers, the 68, the 95, and the 99.7.
Would you just figure out which standard deviation it was and
Right.
like it from 100?
Right. So they were asking 139, right? More than 139.
Mm-hmm.
So you would do 139 minus the mean.
Oh.
And
So
then divide by the standard deviation.
let me write this down. What was mine? So standard deviation. Okay, let's see. So it'd be 3.
Yeah, so that tells you that we are talking 3 standard deviations. But now if it's the in-between area, which is 99.7 for 3 standard deviations. Like if you go 1, 2, 3 over here, then we know that this in-between area, that is 99.7%. But Is that what they are asking for?
The
They're asking not for this in between area, but they're asking for this black area over here, right?
right.
So now from this picture, do we have a way of how to find the black area without remembering a bunch of numbers?
Mm,
So the
would it
total area is 100%.
right? Would you just do 100 minus the 99.7?
100 minus 99.7 will give you this black area, and there will also be a symmetric black area on the left, right?
Right.
So 100 minus 99.7 gives you this one and a symmetric one over here, but we just want this one.
So would you divide
By
2?
yes,
Since there's 2 of this?
right. Finally, we got to divide by your favorite number. You've been trying to divide other things by 2 for a while.
I know.
So 0.15.
This. So, yeah, 0.15. That should be it. Let me see.
Okay.
So
So what's the first thing we have to spot? That is it that or that? We are picking up 5 things from 46. So either it is that or that.
oh,
What are the?
stratified.
No. That's well, they're not asking the name of the sample. Um, there are so there are two kind of situations that go on when you pick a certain number of things from a certain number of things. What are those two?
Mm,
And the hint is that that's one of those rare situations when we use the calculator instead of StatCrunch.
um, I guess I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe hit the PRB button and see if by looking at that screen you remember what I'm talking about.
The C and the P, but I can't remember the name.
So do we agree that either it's combination or permutation?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And now we have to decide. The main thing is to decide which one is it. Is it combination or is it permutation? So what's the difference between combination and permutation?
Um,
So do you remember in one of them order matters and the other the order doesn't matter?
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
So in which one does order matter and in which one does order not matter?
Maybe combination order matters.
No, it's
Okay.
permutation. So, okay, I just thought of a brilliant memory aid in order to remember that which one order matters and which one doesn't. So you see, when you're talking of combination, you think of combining things, and when you combine certain things, you're pretty much putting them all at the same level, and you're like saying that they're all the same. And but when you're permuting things, like if you have three things and you permute them around, then you're kind of saying that order matters.
Okay. Yeah.
That's just a way to remember. So in combination, so now in this problem, does order matter or does it not?
Um, I would say no.
No. Yeah, and by default, unless something is telling you that order matters,
Right, then it.
either then it's not, it doesn't matter by default. I mean, they may tell you directly or indirectly. Like if you're talking about top three positions in a race, then of course order matters, right? And similarly, if you're talking about in how many lineups can you arrange books on a shelf, or in how many lineups can you stand to buy a ticket, there also order matters.
Oh,
But if there is nothing like that suggesting, then by default order doesn't matter. So it's combination. So what do we do then?
um, so we're trying to see how many sample sizes of 5 can be obtained in a whole population of 46.
Right.
Um,
And we've spotted that it's combination, right?
oh,
Because order doesn't matter here. So basically we have to do 46 combination 5. So how do we do it on calculator?
okay, we would just type in 46,
Mhm.
R button, select combination, and then put the 5.
Right. 1370754.
So,
Hmm. Hmm. Like this. So,
so we need the mean and standard deviation for age. So we'll be opening StatCrunch.
okay. Now it's the big. Oh my God.
This
Why
is
is it putting it in 4 columns?
I don't know.
Oh God. So actually, which of the 2 columns do we really need?
The first one, age, and then I guess the last one, number.
Yeah, so you're just like writing extra things. Basically, they're writing the lower limit separate and the upper limit separate.
Okay.
So one thing we know that it's a grouped data, right?
Yes.
So in group data, our normal stat, summary stat columns doesn't work, right?
Right.
So then we have actually just today looked at two other ways. One was
Uh,
stats. Tell me what were the two other ways that we looked at today?
stat calculator custom.
Right? And then there was another one which didn't work in that earlier problem.
Yes. Was it summary stats and then grouped data?
Right. So now I think, so now which one do you think we'll use here? Calculator custom or this group big data? I mean,
Custom,
so why custom?
because there's decimals.
Yeah, so now there is, okay, because of that, you remember that we have to use this because of decimal, we can't use the group in data. But I think custom has another issue. The custom doesn't handle the ranges. It wants a single number in the first column. Let's check. I mean, sometimes they evolve, StatCrunch evolves over time. And so it,
Yeah, it's not letting
not letting
me.
it. Okay. So then you are forced to use the grouped bin data. But now, isn't that just nonsense that I'm talking about? Because didn't I say that you don't, it doesn't let you do if your weights or probabilities or the frequencies are in decimals, right?
Right.
But then I also said another thing is a very small side note. What was that?
You can
See,
multiply everything by a common number.
very good to get rid of that. So we did have that option. We didn't use it over there because we had that custom command, but now we have no choice but to do that. So what common number do you think will multiply this second column by so that the decimals go away?
We just do 100.
Wouldn't 10 even work? If you multiply by 10, the decimal goes one to the right.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
So just basically shift all those decimals 1 point to the right. So don't try calculation yet. So when you open in StatCrunch, so basically adjust the last column by moving all decimals to the right. So 249, 302, 302, 357, then 275. And now you can use the group bin data. So stats, summary stats, but make sure that you only select the first column and the fourth column, right?
Right.
So bins is age and counts is the column that you adjusted. It's the number. What was it? Mean and median?
Mean and standard deviation.
Yeah, so 45.06.
Oops.
Ah, I like it. I like it even more now. 45.06. So, did it say that your standard deviation was wrong when you tried to put it? Try putting the standard deviation that it was saying.
Let's see.
So do you think this is a standard deviation, the 10.65?
Yeah, that's what I would put.
What was a little remark that we made a while ago when we were doing this standard deviation or variance?
You have to make sure which one you put.
Yeah, which one are they asking? Are they asking for population standard deviation or sample standard deviation?
Mhm. Would it be population?
Why?
Um, I would say because of our data, it's all the people of those ages.
Yeah, I mean, that's wonderful if you can recognize from the data. I just looked at the symbols and I
Oh,
know the Greek
yeah,
letters are for population.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I think the way you did it is the way to do in real life. In real life, they're not going to give you these symbols. You have to know if it's
Right.
population or sample. So then is that the one that we are looking at, the answer?
No, we need the unadjusted.
Right. So options, edit. So the unadjusted standard deviation is 10.643.
Okay.
I think we're going to have a discussion which we did have once before as well on this one. uh, what's the one word that you need to know in order to recognize what to do in this problem?
Mm,
If that word doesn't flash through your mind while you're reading this problem, you wouldn't know what to do.
random?
What are you going to do with random?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
the, the word is not over here.
The probability? I don't know.
Did you see probability in every problem in
uh,
now the word is not here on the screen, but that word should flash through your mind when you read this
yeah,
problem.
definitely not flash through my mind.
Do you remember we had this discussion
Yeah,
before?
I can't.
And unless you know, and the thing is, you will be forced to think of that word because otherwise you wouldn't even know what to do in this problem if that word doesn't flash through your mind.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't remember. I remember talking about this.
Okay, and do you remember it was a two-syllable word? No. I don't know. Okay, I'm not good at recognizing how many syllables a word has. So,
Um,
for example, how many syllables does your name have? Is it one or two?
I don't know. Hallie. I don't know.
So it looks like 2, right?
Yeah,
Hallie.
Hallie.
Okay, so no, I shouldn't call that word as 2-syllable word because it might have more. So okay, let me give you a hint that it's a situation where we are just interested in whether someone wears sunglasses or not, right? The 70% will wear the sunglasses and the 30% don't wear. So what's that situation where there are only 2 possible outcomes for every trial?
A binomial?
Binomial. So this is a binomial problem.
Oh, goodness. So we would use the binomial calculator.
Okay. So stats calculator binomial. Okay. And then we had, so normally we need the N, P, and the X. N, P, X. So what are N, P, and X here?
The n is the number. And the p would be the percent.
Which number? There's so many numbers here. We just said N will be the number. Which number?
I guess it would be the sample.
Right. So
Well, mine's 10. Let me see.
yeah, this is 10 here also. So N will be 10 and P will be the 0.7, right? Points,
Yeah.
70% is points. And then what's the X?
See. Would it be okay? So, what is the probability that at least -6 wear sunglasses? So it'd be at least 6. So it'd be less than 6.
So at least means less than 6? If I tell you, give me at least $6, how many will you give me?
6.
Can you give me less than 6?
No, it would be greater than or equal to.
Right.
Oh Lord. Okay, let me write that down.
Oh, I love it when you have trouble remembering the meaning of English words.
Always.
One wouldn't guess it when we hear you speaking. You speak so well, but then once we dig deeply into whether
Yep.
you know the meaning of the words or not. Okay, so n is 10, p is 0.7, and greater than or equal to 6.
Yes. So
0.7 and greater than or equal to 6. 0.8497.
yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, what do you think?
I'm trying to figure it out. um, all I know right now is we have a number because it's talking about 2 people,
Yeah.
and we have a percent because it gives us the percent, 14%.
Yeah. Keep going, keep going. I'm loving your train of thought.
And then the questions are, what is the probability both are math phobic? What is the probability at least one? So I'm thinking we'll probably use a calculator.
Which calculator?
That is the question.
Oh, I almost thought that you also have that brilliant idea which has just crossed my mind for the first time, probably while teaching 1016. Because a very strange idea crossed my mind right now, and it probably was because that this problem is placed just next to the one that we just did. Otherwise, I might not have thought about it.
I don't think it's a binomial problem like we just
Yeah,
did.
you don't think that because we've never done it as a binomial problem. so, so, but just because it was placed next to a binomial problem, I looked at it and I said, I was giving you this reasoning that, okay, either you wear sunglasses or you don't, right? Two options.
Right,
So isn't that, and that's what I thought you will also think when you started saying that we are given that 18% have the allergy.
it's allergic. Well,
And then,
yours is
and
allergic.
then it means that the remaining, the 82% don't have the allergy.
I don't know why. I just don't think like that. I need to.
I
Goodness.
mean, I've thought like that for the first time just because it was next to that sunglasses problem. But first,
Right,
first, let me remind you on how we used to do this before. So we said that 18% is the probability of being allergic, right?
right.
So one person being allergic is 0.18. How many do we have?
2.
Two. And then second person also being allergic is 0.18, and means multiplication. So 0.18 times 0.18 equals 0.0324, right?
Yeah.
And now let me share my brilliant binomial idea here. So, I mean, why isn't it binomial? It is because you're either allergic or you are not, right?
Right.
So what should n be?
N would be 2.
2, because that's the total people we have. So in the
Right.
binomial calculator, we will put n equals 2. Okay. And then what's p?
It would be the 0.18 because it
Right.
was 18.
Uh-huh. And then what will be x? What are they asking?
Uh, probability that both will
Both. So
be
both means how many?
2.
2. And what sign do I put?
Um, if it's both,
Mhm.
wouldn't you put equals?
Yeah, very good. I love it when you always hesitate before saying equals. Right? Okay, so equals to 2. And should it give the same answer? I bet it should if my understanding of binomial is correct. 0.0324.
Wow.
But you will love it even more when you go to the next part, which trips most people, the at least one part, right? So
Right.
0.0324.
Take mine.
So first, let's check if you remember how we used to do the at least one part.
Didn't we? We did what we just did, and then we added on 1 minus the 0.18. Was that it?
No. So at least I used to say that at least one is the complement of none, right? You always do the at least one through the complement. So you first find that none of them is allergic. So what's the probability one of them is not allergic? If it's 18% allergic, what's the probability of being not allergic?
Not allergic. 0? I don't know.
0.
I don't know.
If I say that 18% in a class are males, then what percentage
Would
is
it be
female? Will
like
it be
100
0% female? Yeah. You will say there are 0 females,
miles?
18% males.
What? I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
So it would be 99. Wait, that's not right.
100 minus 18 is 99.
I accidentally did point, I guess.
Okay.
82.
82%. So it means 82% is the probability of not being allergic, right?
Okay, yeah.
So that's 1% not being allergic. And then both of them not being allergic would be another 0.82.
Yes.
So that's the probability that none of them is, no. Yeah, none of them is allergic because that's saying that both are not allergic. So none of them is allergic. And then at least one will be the complement of that. So you subtract that product from one, right?
Okay.
That's how we
So
used to do it. But now, after the brilliant discovery of a while ago, how do you think we'll do it on binomial when you have to do the second part?
wouldn't we change the sign to greater than or equal to?
Right, and what is number?
Um, and change the 2 to 1?
Yeah, at least one means greater than or equal to one. So let's try that. Hmm. This is not how we are expected to do this, but why not? Oh, come on. Oh, not 11. 1. This stupid thing.
It keeps changing.
Do you see what's going on? There's a
Yeah.
there's a stupid autocomplete thing which is putting in the 11. Okay, 0.3276. 0.3276.
And the old way, how would we do it? The
All
guy,
way we do none is 0.82 times 0.82, right?
right?
And then you subtract that product from 1. So you do the complement of none.
Okay. So let me see. Okay, yeah.
So which one do you like better?
I don't know.
No, no. I thought you were a big fan of StatCrunch. So anything StatCrunch would be the best always.
Yep.
Okay, so let's see. Determine the quartiles and upper and lower fences, outliers. So click to view the data. So copy in StatCrunch,
Yes,
and it has that summary stat thing has the quartiles.
it does.
So stat, summary stat columns. So the first quartile is 36.85. Where's the second quartile?
Isn't it the median?
Second quartile is the median, 38.65. And 40.95. Does StatCrunch also do the fences?
I don't think so.
So, do we have to remember that formula for the lower fence and upper fence?
I think so.
Actually, it's on the formula sheet as well. Do you know how to open the formula sheet in the software?
I feel like I have before.
Yeah, it's like when you open the software on the left side, you have that big choice of things. One of them is StatCrunch as well, and one of them is formula sheet. So here, what I will do is, oh, it's not letting me go back. Okay, so how now? Can I do another login and this will be preserved or not?
I'm not sure actually.
You're not? Let's try my MATLAB.
I don't see it on the formula sheet.
Okay, so are you seeing what I'm doing? Yeah. So when
Oh,
you
here it
oh,
is.
you do?
Yeah.
So what's the formula?
For the lower fence, it's quartile 1 minus 1.5 multiplied by the interquartile range. For the upper fence, it's quartile 3 plus 1.5 multiplied by the interquartile range.
Okay, so lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. And upper fence is Q3 plus 1.5 IQR. Okay. So let's see, Q1 is 36.85. And how do we get the IQR?
Isn't it Q3 minus Q1?
Mm-hmm. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So 36.85 minus 1.5 times IQR. So Q3 minus Q1 will be 40.95 minus 36.85. So that's 4.1. And how much is this? 6.15. 32.7? No, 30.7. And this one will be Q3, 40.95 plus 1.5 times 4.1. No, I think the lower fence was wrong. 41.82. Midway between 40. $6.15. 47.1. Is that right? Do you agree with these numbers?
Um, I'm
Okay.
not sure.
But let's find your numbers were different.
Yes, sir, they were.
Okay. So what are the outliers? How do we find the outliers?
Look at the data and see if any are lower than the 30.7 or higher than the 47.1.
Okay.
There's 49.0 for sure.
Okay.
Let's see.
Lower than 30.7.
Looks like that's the only one.
Okay. 49.
Yes.
It's scary to check all these parts in one go. Okay. Yeah, but that's a good practice for the final exam. There you will
Yeah.
be checking all the questions in one go, right? There's nobody going to be telling you after every question whether it's right or wrong.
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what do you think this is?
Mm, roughly symmetric.
Roughly symmetric. And when will it be uniform?
Uh,
So you see, the 5 key numbers are this starting number,
mm,
this, this, and this. And if all these 5 numbers are equally spaced, then it will be uniform.
okay.
But here, there's a bigger gap between this one and this one as compared to this one and this one, right? But it's still symmetric because these three are like these this and this are centered around this, and this are centered around this. So it's symmetric but not uniform. And so you also got a symmetric one.
Mine was actually skewed to the right.
So how did you know that it was skewed to the right?
Um, the box was more towards the left, and when there's more room on one side,
Yeah.
and that's how you know which side it is. So it was skewed to the right.
Okay.
That's how I think about it.
I mean, you got it right in the first go. You knew it, or were you
Yeah.
playing around and found it?
No, I
Okay.
picked skewed to the right, and it was right.
And you were confident about it, the method.
Yes.
Okay. So then I don't want to interfere with that. Okay. So how do we get the 5 number summary? Oh, just read it. So what's this number, the lowest?
Oh, goodness. So 0,
0. And then this one.
6, it looks like.
Yeah.
And
And
then 10, 14, and 20. Yeah.
heart or club?
Oh, I don't like those.
You should be an expert with the deck of cards by now.
Ah, should,
So how many hearts do we have?
is it 4?
You have only 4 hearts? Isn't it
Oh,
13?
oh. Whoops. Okay, it's 13.
Yeah, even human beings don't have 4 hearts. Right?
Is it the numbers that there are 4?
No, there are 4 suits: hearts, clubs, diamonds, and spades, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there are 13 of each. So hearts is one of those. So we agree there are 13 hearts. And how many
Yeah.
clubs are there?
There should be 13 as well, right?
Yeah. And is there any overlap? Can you be heart and club at the same time?
No.
No. So then we don't remember the normal addition formula is A plus B minus A and B, right?
Right.
So if there is no overlap, then that's it in that formula, and then you divide it by what?
The whole deck of cards?
How many?
52?
Right. Oh, you even hesitated while saying there's 52.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the deck of cards. Well, I know a little bit, I guess.
Okay, so what do we get?
Um, let's see. 0.5.
Okay. Heart or club or spade?
Mm. So it would be 0.75.
Right. And also another way you can do this first and the second part is that heart and club will form half of the cards, isn't it? There are total 4 suits, and heart and club are 2 of those 4, right?
Right.
So that's half of it. So half means 0.5. And then the heart or club or spade are 3 of the 4.
So it would be
Right?
70. Yep.
3/4 is 0.75. But now, how is this one different?
A queen or diamond. So a diamond would be 13, right?
Right. And
And
how
a,
many queens?
is it 2 or 4?
4. Each suit has a queen.
It has a queen. Okay, yeah, 4.
4. So will we just add the 13 and the 4?
Mm. Wouldn't we divide it as well?
Yeah, we will also divide by 52, but on the top, will we just add the 4 and the 13 and be happy with life?
Well, isn't one queen a diamond?
Yeah, and so what are we going to do with that?
Subtract.
Yeah, that's the overlap that we're going to subtract. So 4 queens plus 13 diamonds minus 1 card is both a queen and a diamond, which is 1. And then you divide that by 52.
So 0.308.
Okay.
And on mine,
Uh-huh.
the first one is a 8 or 5.
8 or 5?
Yes.
So how many 8s?
So wouldn't it be 4?
4 8s. And how many 5s?
4.
4. So
Okay.
4 plus 4.
So okay, and then it's an 8 or 5 or queen.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all 4,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it is a 3 or club.
Mm-hmm.
So we would do, would it be 4 plus 13
Mm-hmm.
minus 1?
Right.
Since a 3 would be a club. Okay. And that would also be 308. All right.
Okay. So what's the key word in this problem? And this time it's there. This time it's written on the screen.
Okay. For the month of June.
There's one word in this problem which will tell you which formula to use.
I definitely remember having a problem like this one.
Yeah. Tell me the key word. The one word. And that one word will remind us of the word, which actually is how we remember the formula. So do you know we have a given B formula? Probability of A given B, what is it?
I don't think I remember it off the top of my head.
Did we use this symbol for the given, this straight line?
Yes.
Okay, A given B. So that's probability of A and B divided by? What do we divide it by?
A?
No, whatever is given, that now becomes the total. So B, probability of B. Oh, here's a memory aid to remember which one you divide by. You see, you can think of like A divided by B, although it's not divided, but that's just to
Right.
remember that you're going to divide by B.
Okay.
So now I don't have the word given in this problem, but there is one word which has the same meaning as the word given in this context. Given means that a fact has been given to us, or we are told that something is the case. So what's that word in this problem which actually is the same as given?
Will.
Will means the same thing as given? Oh my God, you're changing my conception of the English language. So
I'm just guessing.
Haley will take the exam. Haley given the exam. Looks like different.
Yeah.
There's one word which means exactly the same as given. Your English language skills are really being exposed during this course.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not good at picking up words.
Because they say rainy if it is cloudy, you could also say rainy given it is cloudy, right? So in this case, it would be rainy given cloudy. This be like R given C. So it'd be R and C divided by which one?
C.
And now, do we have the things that we need? Do we know rainy and cloudy?
Yeah.
How many?
Cloudy. Oh, hold on. Okay, would it be 0.792?
Okay, so what did you do?
So the 42% is cloudy and rainy, so that would go on top, and on bottom would be the. Oh, I did point. Maybe I wasn't
Okay,
supposed
just
to.
to make you happy, we'll do point also, but okay. So, but the thing is, since both will have 0.42 and 0.53, right? So I basically, in my mind, I shifted both those points to the right, which will give me the same thing.
Oh, okay. And I just divided them.
Right. So whether you do 42 by 53 or you do 0.42 by 0.53, you get the same.
Okay.
So what did you say? 0.7?
Yes, 792 is what I got.
Okay. Ah, your favorite thing, z-score. So do we have the z-score formula on the formula sheet?
Look. I'm not. Would it be z equals?
Uh-huh.
I don't know why, but that just didn't look right. Maybe that is it. X minus mean divided by population standard deviation.
Yeah, why doesn't it look right?
I don't know. Maybe I just had forgot it. And then X minus X bar divided by.
Yeah. In both cases, it's the x minus the mean divided by the standard deviation. So if you're using the sample, you could either use the samples or the population, whatever is given.
Okay. Let me go back to it.
So what will be the z-score for the man?
So for the man,
Tell me the process. The
so we would do 75
right.
minus the mean. Let's see. For the mean is
What's the mean for the man?
okay, so it would be the 69.4.
Right. So now you do believe that the average is the mean.
Took me a second, but
Divided by
the 3. 3.0.
okay. 5.2, 5.6 over 3.0, 1.87. So that'd be 1.87. And what is it for the woman? 70 minus 63.4 is 5.7 divided by 3.9. 5.7 or 3.9.
So
1.48. Is that right?
yes.
Okay, so that shows that the man is taller because of the 1.87
Right.
versus the 1.48. Oh,
Let's see.
5.87. 70 minus 64.3 is 5.7. 5.7 over 3.9.
1 point.
Or 6, yeah.
1.46.
Yeah, about 1.48.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this a problem in the first 6 chapters? Yeah, it's chapter 4, right? Yeah, it's chapter 4. So which one is the explanatory variable? You have square footage and the asking price. Which one is the explanatory variable?
Would it be square footage?
Yeah, explanatory is like the independent. So square footage. And how do we do the scatter plot?
I guess we would open the data in StatCrunch.
Okay. So let's see. What do we use? Stats. Let's see if you remember after looking at the menu. Yeah, look at the menu and see if your memory clicks. So remember, the main thing that we will be using will be something different from the scatter plot. Scatter plot will just come there as a byproduct.
Right.
But the main thing will be based on what we have to do in the second part or the third part. That's going to decide what are we using in StatCrunch.
Oh.
It's the first time I'm hearing the baby today.
She must have woke up from her nap.
Okay.
Um.
Isn't the second part talking about regression line between the asking price and the square footage? Or is it asking for correlation?
Linear correlation.
Yeah, so whether you do correlation or whether you do regression line, it's stats, regression, and then
Oh. Okay. Stats.
now you should know what's the next one.
Simple linear.
Simple linear.
Okay.
X and Y.
X. Mm. So, did you just leave it with the hypothesis test?
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you leave it. So
Okay, I wasn't sure.
yeah, because we're not doing any of those, neither the confidence interval nor the hypothesis test.
Right, okay. Oh, okay, now I remember.
But where's the scatter plot?
I think you just arrow over.
Yeah. Okay, so fix this picture in your memory.
I see.
And then try to spot the answer.
Okay.
I think it was the first one, wasn't it? Because I remember it started like this.
Yes, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And then the correlation coefficient R, which one is that?
It's gonna be that R. Yeah, that
Point
the
922.
922.
Okay, 0.92. Oh, it's also asking for regression line in the next part. Okay, first, is there a correlation or not? So, where's the now? In most problems, when they ask this question, that is there a linear relation or not, they give us the table for the critical values and we compare it against that one, remember?
Yeah.
But if they don't, then it's always like you look at the number and you make a judgment call and you decide whether it's close to 0.1 or not. I mean, it's close to 1 or not. Do you think 0.922 is pretty close to 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the problems I've seen where they don't give us a table, they always give us like 0.9 something, and the answer is always yes. So,
Okay.
but if the table is given, then you compare it against that. And if it's higher than the critical value in the table, then there is correlation, otherwise not.
And I remember with this one, when it gives you data in StatCrunch, it's backwards.
Let's see. It's already there when you did the regression. It's also calculated the line. So what is backwards?
Or at least something was, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so the X coefficient is coming later.
Right.
And I mean, it's there. They are mentioning that this is the X part and then this is the constant part, right?
Yeah.
So 0.069x plus 82.63. 0.069x plus 82.63. This one. Oh, this one problem has everything. It has the scatter plot, it has correlation coefficient, it has the regression line, and it has the interpretation. Wow, what an all-in-one problem. Like it. Okay, so do you remember the interpretations that I wrote for slope and the y-intercept?
I don't think I do. I'm sure I have them wrote down, but
Yeah, by now you should have them written down in your heart. So, okay, so slope. So, slope is the change in y for each additional x. Y-intercept So y-intercept is the y value when x is 0. Okay. The slope is the change in y for each additional x. So let's go back. So in this case, the y is the asking price. So the slope will be the change in asking price for each additional square foot, right?
Right.
So change in asking price for each additional square foot. And the slope is, what's the slope in this problem? What's the number?
The 0.069.
0.069. And it's in thousands. See, they say it's in thousands of dollars. So 0.069 thousand means you shift the decimal place 3 units to the right. So it's actually $69.
Right.
So it's telling us that the change in price will be $69 for each extra square foot. Which makes sense, right? You add
Yes.
1 square foot, you add $69 to the price. Okay, so which one is it?
So, D.
D. So what's wrong with A?
A. It's saying it will decrease
Yeah.
by
And how do you know it would increase? How do we know that it's increase and not decrease?
the slope is positive.
Right, good. Okay, is the y-intercept reasonable? So what did we say about the y-intercept? What did I write down?
Y value when x is 0.
Okay, so how will it translate here?
Um,
The y value here is the price, right?
right.
So it's the price when square footage is 0. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does? You believe in a house of 0
But
square footage?
I was just about to say, but a house can't have 0 square.
So you said yes too quickly.
Yeah, I did.
Is that how quickly you say yes in your real life also?
No. Definitely not.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were a very careful person. You were like,
try to be.
all right. So
So,
it doesn't make sense here.
no. So it would be
Right.
no.
So let's say in a problem that it made sense, what would it be? What would the y-intercept be looking at this equation?
Uh, the y would be the 82.
Right. So then you would say that when whatever is 0, the price is 82.6. Right.
Right.
Okay. So one home that is 1094 square feet is listed at 189,000. Is this price above or below average? So how do we decide that?
Would we go to the square foot and see
Not from the table, but from the equation.
who? Oh, would we put it where the x is? Maybe
Put what?
the the square feet.
Yeah,
So
1094 and that, and calculate the average price. because the model gives us the average price. So put this 1094 in the model for the X.
Let me put it in. And it was 1094.
Uh-huh.
So I got 158.1187.
Right. So, and it's in thousands. So it means that the average price of the house should be, of that square foot should be 158,000 something.
Okay.
So
So
this home is 189,000. So is it above average or below average?
above.
Above. Oh my God, right at the stroke of 11?
Oh, wow. That never happens. Okay. So what I was thinking, if you're on Zoom tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
we could do the next one, and then over the weekend, I think I'm gonna try to do the other one that you said, and then Monday or Tuesday get on and the ones I had problems with, get you to help.
Okay.
If that sounds good.
Yeah, that's good. So do you want to start? When do you want to start tomorrow?
Tomorrow we can just start at 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
that's
so funny that you email at 8:29 to say that let's start at 8:30. And we did.
I was like, I hope I'm not rushing him. I kind of felt bad.
No, it's okay. I wasn't doing anything else.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think usually our frequencies match pretty well. And usually whenever you ask me for something, I'm there for it.
Yes, I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. In fact, you've helped everybody so much by these review sessions. And not just these classes in the fall semester, this will stay forever.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Yeah,
didn't even think about that.
will always be these reviews that will be used for the generations to come.
Right. Well, I'm proud to say I helped everybody out
Yeah,
and helped myself in the
yeah.
process.
Uh-huh. And usually that's what happens. Like a lot of times when you do something good for yourself, it helps other. Or is it the other way around? When you do something good for others, it helps you also.
I think it could go both ways.
Yeah, it can go both ways, at least
Yeah.
in this case.
Yeah, in this case. Well, thank you so much, and I will be back on tomorrow.
Okay, you're welcome.
You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodness. There it goes.